Okay, I'm making this video to hopefully help you understand how to put equations into matrix form on your calculator so that you can solve a system of linear equations in this way. You still need to understand how to do Gauss-Jordan operations, but this is just an easier way that you can solve the system without having to do those operations every time. So I'm using the very last example from the Gauss-Jordan examples video, which is shown right here. I left an open place marker right here for where there's no x in this equation, and also another open place marker right here in this equation for where there's no y. Over here I put 0x and 0y respectively to keep the place of where the variables are. And now if you've watched the videos, you know how to translate these equations into matrix form. You just read across and put the coefficients. So going across the first equation, the coefficients are 1, 2, -3, and 8, which you can see is the first row in our matrix right here. And then you just followed the same thing for the last two equations. So you'd have 0, 3, 4, and 10 for the second row of the matrix, and then 2, 0, -5, and 15 for the third row of your matrix. Now you're going to do second and this little exponential button right here, because it says matrix, very vaguely you can see it, to get to matrix on your graphing calculator. We're going to scroll over to edit so that we can input this matrix. And like I said in class, the size of the matrix corresponds to the number of equations in the matrix and then the number of variables, including the constant. So our number of equations is 3, and then we have 3 variables plus the constant, which makes 4. So our size of our matrix is a 3 by 4. And then we're going to go ahead and input the coefficients. So once you put, the first coefficient we have is 1 in our matrix, and you just press enter and it'll scroll over. So then you can put 2, -3, and 8. So we're just reading across the rows. Once you press enter, it'll jump down to the second row, and you're just reading across once again. So 0, and then 3, and then 4, and then 10. And then we're lastly going to go to this last line right here, and it's going to be 2, 0, -5, and 15. Now, once that's all entered into the calculator, you're going to second mode to quit and go back to the home screen. And then we're going to go back to matrix once again, so second and this little exponential button. Scroll over to math, and if you start using the up arrow, you'll get to the letter B, which says rref, which is the reduced row echelon form, which is what we're aiming for. It's what we're trying to do, so we're going to press enter. That'll show up on the home screen, and then you need to say which matrix are you trying to do this to. So we're going to go back to matrix once again, stay under names, and use whichever matrix A, B, C, whatever that you put it into. So we used A right here, so I'm going to press enter for A. Close the parentheses and press enter. So as you can see, we got a lot of decimals, and you know that we don't want to keep it in this form. So we're actually just going to go to math and press enter for frac, and then you can get them in fraction form. And you see that on this picture I've written them out, what the answers are. And if you want to go by the book, do everything the correct way, you transcribe these back into equations with their variables. So you would say 1x plus 0y plus 0z is 235 over 19. So you're reading across and putting the variables back where they belong with these respective coefficients. If you keep on doing this, you end up being able to cross out all the 0 terms because there's nothing there. And you get that x is equal to 235 over 19, y is equal to 14 over 19, and z is equal to 37 over 19. Okay guys, I hope that this was helpful.